Hello, Aries. Welcome to your reading with me, Cindy. So, Aries, we're going to find out what you hide in. This could be interesting because Aries is usually pretty upfront about what's going on, and they'll tell you. So, we're going to try to dig here. These have been almost feel like a surgeon just precisely going in and pulling something hidden out. And it's interesting how it kind of, it always has something to do with healing. So, let's look into this, Aries. I'm going to do it in a different sort of way. This reading is actually, it's following the same format that I did when I was looking at the mask that you wear, but I'm asking slightly different questions, so which changes the answers in the reading. So we're going to, ooh, thief, you're stealing hearts. Just that. So we're going to find out starting with the archetype deck. We're going to ask many different questions, and then I'm going to go into the Oracle of the Radiant Sun, and then I have the teeny tiny Everyday Witch deck. So I pulled out a lot of the information from the two archetype decks that I'm going to be using. So let us get started, Aries. Oh yeah, no, this, I gotta shuffle this one like this. All right, Aries, it's a general reading, my friends. Because it's general, it may or may not resonate with everyone, but if it does resonate and you're drawn to it, there is an extended. The link to that is at the top of the description in this video. Everything was shuffling fine a minute ago. What is going on here? Okay, there we go. Okay. Oh, the bird's trying to come into the house. You can't come in, honey. There's lots of feet there. What are you doing? The birds are weird. I don't know. Okay, what do we have here? Liberator. So this is the first one. So this is actually like who you are. This is the first card that's coming out is who you are, and then we're going to find out what you're hiding behind. So Liberator, freeing yourself and others from outmoded beliefs, releasing negative thought patterns. So that's like a good thing. That's a good thing. That actually, because Aries is kind of described in the zodiac as you know, the one that will champion themselves and champion others. Come on, let's go. A real kind of king or queen of wands energy. So lift yourself up, lift others up in that process. So you are a liberator. That's who you really are. But you're hiding behind something. There's something you're hiding behind. See what it is. And this could be like something really subtle, or it could be something much more profound and dramatic in your life. Whatever comes out. It's going to be on a gradient. It's going to be on a measuring system. Measure it yourself there. Regardless of how dramatic it may come out. Okay, what are you really hiding behind? What is it? What is it that you're hiding behind? Detective. Great powers of observation and intuition, desire to seek out the truth. Oh, see, I knew it was just going to be interesting because Aries is not really, there's a couple signs that, you know, are pretty much in your face from what's going on. They're not going to hide too much from you, and Aries is definitely one of them. Not everybody likes that, but it is what it is. So I think that these actually go together really well. You're hiding behind the detective energy. But I think if you want to free yourself and others from outmoded beliefs and release negative thought patterns, you have to kind of discern and figure out what is going on around you. What is, you know, perhaps people around you, why are they behaving the way that they are? Trying to understand that. But it's almost like you're... You know what I get with the detective too? So I'm thinking about different, you know, archetypes of detectives that pretty much I don't know any. Personally, I shouldn't say it. I had a cousin who was a detective in the police department. But I didn't know him on a professional level that way. So I can only go by like movies and TV. And if you think about a detective, they usually don't give much information about themselves in a given situation, because they're collecting information and they're also kind of standing back and letting things play out and see how it plays out, and that will tell the detective an awful lot about what's going on. So you kind of hide behind that. You may not, this kind of has the feeling of, I'm getting like Columbo. Like, I'm getting that energy of Columbo, how he might kind of come across as, incompetent or unable to, not too swift. I'm not, but very, very observant. So you may come across as I'm literally getting, like, that is the one detective. I'm getting a bit of Sherlock Holmes, but Columbo's kind of stepping in front of that. And that's that energy of, like, really, like, kind of people thinking he's not very classy, not very sophisticated. And because of that, they think that they can pull the wool over Columbo's eyes. And by thinking that, though, they often trip themselves up and they display who they really are right in front of that detective. So it's very unique. And I think it's also unique that that's who you really are as a liberator. So it's kind of like one trying to find the truth in the reality that exists around you, but not necessarily, I wouldn't say that. I was about to say not necessarily putting your energy into the situation to see how it affects it, because you do, but you might be falsifying how intelligent or sophisticated your thinking is. Why you hide your true self now? So why you you're stealing hearts, honey. Okay, you got the Thief card again. Shed light on the potential wealth within you that can never be stolen. It's like, psst, hey, come over here, kid. Look, I got some. I got a heart. That's interesting. I think you're protecting a part of you. Because it doesn't look, okay, I mean, at first it kind of, the thief stealing hearts. But when you look at what it says, and you apply that to the image, sheds light on the potential wealth within you that can never be stolen. So, yeah, because again, doesn't this look like someone who's kind of like detecting? It's got like that hat, like the old 50s and just the trench coat. Columbo wore a trench coat. It's really funny. Columbo, I haven't watched or seen that in like probably a couple of decades, but there's definitely, so protecting of self, protecting parts of yourself and allowing others to display them. It's a little bit, it's a little bit covert. I would say that it's definitely a little bit covert, but it's also, I think, it gets you the truth. It gets you the truth without sacrificing parts of you or parts of you being taken advantage of. So that's why you're doing this. That's why you're being like a little Columbo here. How this affects your relationships with people. The King. Well, enlightened, benevolent leadership, benefiting those in your charge. This feels very nice. So, I mean, Columbo was only looking for the people that did the bad things and that they needed. It's almost got a feeling like of justice, liberation, that needed to atone for their bad things. So an enlightened, benevolent leader. I guess these two energies, you could say that it kind of creates a sense of enlightenment. Wanting to raise those up, but on some level, when people recognize what is perhaps not a healthy way of doing something or interacting with others, you just kind of step back and let that happen, and then protect, where you need to perhaps, or how you need to. But again, what does Columbo do? Columbo is only interested in the people or the person who's committed the crime. So what advice does the universe have for you? Servant. Delight in serving others with a free and loving heart. This is nice. Well, why not? Because I feel like this is the kind of energy that could detect the wolves in sheep's clothing. So once you've detected that, then the ones that are not the wolves in sheep's clothing, they absolutely deserve, we all deserve. If none of us are posing as a wolf in sheep's clothing with others, why don't we all just give to each other beautifully and freely? And that's the advice that you're getting here. So when you identify You've done your detective work. You've protected anything within you, anything that you're creating or working on outside of yourself that has something to do with you as well, obviously, that is safe to do this. Delight, delight. It feels good to serve others that, you know, deserve that are not, I don't say criminals, but not working in their higher good or the higher good of others, trying to take advantage on some level. So what is the outcome if you follow the advice? A guide, wow, represents the nature of the divine in life and in yourself. This is the kind of energy I was kind of getting for Gemini the last little while. Like, this is a real spiritual elevation. It feels like a very, very high spiritual elevation. But again, it's following the advice. Because if you detect wolves in sheep's clothing, but then you continue to neglect those that are the actual, the actual sheep. You know what I mean? Just like people that are, they're coming of a good heart and a good mind. There's no reason why you should hold back with those people. And share with them. Share with them. Connect with the divine. Because this is how the divine would like all of us to really connect with people. But because you are human, having a human experience, you also do have to, on some level, protect yourself. But it feels like the protecting of yourself is kind of just holding back. Not putting it out there. Seeing how everyone else or a certain person or people behave or work around. Look at this. Samaritan and bully is the underline. Samaritan refines your capacity to help those you would prefer to ignore. Highlights your tendency, so then bully is highlights your tendency to intimidate others, helps you confront the inner fears that bully you. So this in itself might actually be how you work through, even perhaps getting to a point where you can help those that you'd rather leave, rather not have anything to do with them. It's almost like refining this process. So perhaps you could be of service, be of help to those that feel like that they would perhaps try to take from you. That is a very slippery slope. You have to be careful with that. I would say that that is, that kind of goes above and beyond the level of guide and gets into a very shamanic energy where, yeah. So I don't want to kind of give that sort of guidance if I'm not seeing you at that level yet. So let's look at the Oracle of the Radiant Sun, Aries, and add to this layer, the layers of this reading. Yeah, it's like sitting back and collecting information. Maybe it's where you work, figuring out, you know, who you can trust, figuring out if anyone has a personal or an ulterior agenda. I've often thought too that if you give people space, that will give them the opportunity to show you who they really are. And this is kind of what that detective energy is. Give them space and see who they really are. I feel like if I did this, I feel like I need to do it again. But if I didn't, I'm doing it now. Okay, who you really are. Liberator, impulsiveness. Interesting. Well, we have Mars in Aries. It's you. It's you, honey. So you might be quite impulsive in terms of liberating yourself and liberating others. There definitely should probably be a balance in that. I see though that this is something here, detective work. So perhaps trying to pull the reins back a little bit with the impulsiveness. Because if you're impulsively going in to liberate someone, do you know the full situation? Do you understand everything that's going on in their life as well? Just saying that because Aries does tend to be like cheering other people on. Perhaps this person needs to work through some sort of karma, and your impulsive interference could drag you into their karmic energy, and it could even maybe undo some of the progress that somebody's already made for themselves. So impulsiveness is not negative, but it can be. It's like anything, really. So what is this that you're hiding behind here? Order. The moon and Virgo. That's interesting. It's very, oh, that is a very kind of a high-minded energy, trying to find the patterns within the confusion. Yeah, find the patterns within the confusion. Find the patterns within the unknown and link things together to produce a hypothesis, an understanding about something around you or someone around you. Why you're hiding this? Oh, empathy. Oh, because you have a big heart. And the moon, yeah, the moon in Pisces, because you have and here, I'm only saying that too because you do have the heart that's hiding behind. You do have a big heart, so perhaps in the past, if you've given anybody an inch, they've taken a mile or two. So also there is a sense that you hide your true self because you are, I want to say, on some level here, very sympathetic, very empathetic towards other people's situations, but also starting to take into account that you also need to sympathize and empathize with yourself and protect it, that you do have a right to protect that. This actually seems very healthy so far. You know, they haven't really truly been terribly unhealthy. There was a bit of addiction going through with Aquarius and Pisces, but I don't think it was anything too heavy. How this affects your relationships. You have the King here. Choice. You have Mars and Libra. Whoa. Wow, that's interesting because this Liberator feels a little bit like that, like the Justice card, like Libra energy. But then you have the impulsiveness with Mars and Aries. So here, it's like trying to create a balance. Actually, it is because Libra and Aries are at the opposite ends of the zodiac. So it is definitely trying to create a balance, an enlightened balance here. I think I will actually read. And it's kind of an important spot, like how this affects your relationships with others. It's interesting, the artwork in here too, because we have two angels sitting on a cloud. So it is like the Justice card in that, because somebody is holding the scales here and they're trying to weigh it, and they've got a sword in the other hand, but they can't see. All they want is the truth, but there is another angel looking in. Does that angel give them the information? A rose with thorns. There's a duality here as well. There's a duality down here. Is it fair when two are looking but one is masked and one is not? The duality of the rose, it is sweet, scented, it is beautiful and lush, but boy, it has some thorns on it to protect it as well. And then this is a weird energy. This is almost like a chastity belt. Like it just, the way it's like got the legs, the legs can't open up or do anything, but yet then there's a sword through the heart. So sometimes there is a sense of self-sacrifice in relationship with that, or sometimes people might find the thorns on you or within you, even though you might look very sweet and delicate and lovely. There's a complexity in that, for sure. Advice for you is the Servant. Concentration. Saturn and Gemini. Ooh, is a little bit, to me, it just feels like biting your tongue. It feels a bit like biting your tongue. Like constrictive in Gemini is communication. Communication in small groups. Communication in your neighborhood and your family. Outcome if you follow the advice is guide. Ooh, an influence. Wow, then you have Mercury in Libra. So taking that cosmic balance I almost see a transformation happening here. Taking this cosmic balance of who you are that's linked to impulsiveness and trying to fine-tune it. Fine-tune it. Part of the fine-tuning is realizing that there's a dualistic nature to you, that you can be sweet as the most beautiful rose, but you do also have thorns that will prick. That there's sometimes a sense of self-sacrifice in the heart and perhaps the nether regions in terms of finding balance and being a leader. And then here, it's like a guide is someone who would influence, who would have some sort of influence on others. But there's trying to strike a balance in this. Damn, and then you have the moon in Libra at the bottom, companionship. So it also, and then you have Jupiter in Gemini, and it's bluff. That's something Columbo would do. I mean, it was a bit of bluff. It was almost like a bit of a poker energy too, like a poker face. Coming off like an incompetent, showing up at the card table. Oh, no, sorry. Which is the higher ones, the red chips or the white chips again? That's the kind of thing Columbo would have said when trying to detect something, when trying to allow, you know, people put their guard down in that energy because they think they're dealing with a buffoon. So, I don't know if people think they're dealing with a buffoon with you sometimes, Aries, but you're not, from what I'm seeing here. I want to see this choice card, this Mars in Libra. It's a very short read. I'm just looking at, where's Mars? The events that this could be around, and then the card. Okay, events. So this is like how this affects relationships. A deliberate change of direction, a business merger, choosing between two partners or diverse business options. When this card appears, it always indicates a difficult choice to be made. Well, yes, it does feel like that, but an enlightened leader will make the choice that is for the benefit of all those in charge. But that also includes yourself here with that, with the thief in the heart, protecting it so that it cannot be stolen, so that your path cannot be taken from you. Yeah, I think that, let's look at concentration, because it is part of advice here. On the surface, with Saturn and Gemini being a communicator and a thinker, it is sort of like constricting things, perhaps in a way to reduce the impulsiveness. Saturn and Gemini. Talking one's way into an important job, using much concentrated research to achieve something. Long conscientious study, ignoring someone's deliberate distractions. Oh, that's interesting. So ignore deliberate distractions around you. Again, it's focusing on your path, what you know to be right for yourself. In a reading, this card suggests a situation full of distractions and unnecessary complications. Only by keeping consciously to the essence of the matter will the questioner arrive at a successful conclusion. So that's almost the reason why, like, the Saturn energy is coming in there, is to try to get you to focus on something. Because Gemini rules the third house, the card can indicate strain in the questioner's relationship with siblings. So it could be siblings or someone that you're close to on some level. But to be, delight in serving others with a free and loving heart. I think that seems to be that, but that's the idea. That's the ideal. So if there's things that are distracting you from that, to pull your focus back in is kind of what the guidance is. Let's do a quick one tarot for each one of these. All right, who you really are. What you're hiding behind. High Priestess is the card that came out for who you really are. So this is a very unique way to find the truth in things, actually, isn't it? So when things are hidden from us, it seems like that you use a technique in allowing things to show themselves to you. The bird is still trying to come in. It's okay, everything is fine. That's the funniest thing. Ooh, the Three of Swords. What you're hiding behind. See, you're protecting a heart that has been stolen and hurt by others. So you have a very unique way of protecting it. This feels very, very advanced. Like a very advanced way of just allowing those to show you who they truly are without putting any expectation or much into it. Why you hide your true self, right? To shed light on the potential wealth within you that can never be stolen, and having this empathy and sympathy. So the big heart in the past has perhaps caused you trouble. The Three of Wands. Whoa, it kind of feels like wanting to bring new things in. Not bring in the energy of the past. Manifesting. You're in the process of manifesting and expecting things to come in. Did you just hear that? He's still expecting things to come in. And the bird, you can't come in, sweetheart. Why do you want to come in? He's standing on the ledge of the door. This little Finchy. It's okay, buddy. Everything is okay. Expecting things to come in. The bird wants to come into the house. They were doing that like a week ago, and now they're just doing it now. Tells me something I need to know, but that's okay. I hope it tells you something. How this affects your relationships. The Lovers. It brings in exactly what you need, and it gives you the capacity to make choices in your life too. Gemini energy, it is about soulmates, deep soulmate connections, finding those that are on the same path that you are on, and leadership in this journey, and connecting with those people, those individuals, perhaps, that are on that path with you. Now, the advice for you was Servant, Hierophant, very high level, Aries. It's funny, I was going to say Gemini. There's a lot of Gemini energy in here. No, there isn't. There's just this one. Why did it feel like there was? And maybe it's the Mercury, because you have the Virgo too. So it's the Mercury. There's a lot of Mars, Venus, and Mercury energy in this reading. So there's the dualistic nature of Mars and Venus. And then we have the Mercury, like the investigative qualities. But this is like taking a higher road, being of higher service to yourself and others, and the outcome, if you follow this advice. Oh, it's the Five of Wands. Yeah, well, that's going to happen, I guess, right? So there's definitely influence. Not everyone will agree with, we can agree to disagree. I'm noticing that there's a rose down here. Isn't that interesting? There's a rose down there at the bottom. I guess it kind of, because I want to say, if these two don't watch where they're walking, they're going to step on the rose bush, and then they're going to get those thorns, which is very curious with the Five of Wands. So there might be instances, I'm going to say, you're still going to run into instances where there is some sort of a conflict here, because perhaps people are not observing how they may be walking on your energy or over your energy, and that there is conflict. There will produce a conflict with them. Well, you're Aries, you're Mars. What are they going to do? Ten of Pentacles. Stability, abundance. I'm also hearing that word has been escaping me every time for the last couple weeks with this Ten of Pentacles. Legacy, a sense of legacy. Oh boy. So there you go, Aries, my little Columbos. That's what I got for you. I'm going to go do the extended. In the extended, I use tarot and oracle cards. And I'm going to ask like how you can improve the relationships around you. What would your inner child ask you or tell you? Actually, what would your inner child ask you? Maybe I'll pull that out in the extended. So what would your inner child ask you? So there's that. And then what would your inner child tell you about what you're hiding behind, and then how you can release your true potential? So that's what I got for you, my fireball babies. Thank you so much. Until next time, do be gentle with yourselves. Bye.